Good morning, good morning. What's going on, Facebook land? How y'all doing today? This is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. It's Knowledge by Nikki at 9. And I am here to help all my salon owners get it right. That's my job. That's my legacy I want to leave. That's my responsibility at this point. I just love it. I started a coaching group about 2 years ago, and I started a coaching group with just one thing in mind: to help salon owners to even experience a little bit of the success that I had in my 21 years of salon ownership. I had been around the country, traveled all over the place, in and out of the country, and I just saw salons failing everywhere, guys. I saw them failing everywhere. I mean, and it wasn't just an urban thing. It is bigger. The problem is bigger in the urban salon industry, though, and I think it's because we really just don't understand the business aspect of it. You know, most of us come out of school, we have a booth rental mentality, and we really believe that this hustle and grind and we just trying to make a living. But what happens is, guys, when you go into a business with that mindset, not really thinking that this is a business, the realities of business still surface. They still happen. They still come about, and we're like, oh my God, what do we do now? Because I think I bought into all of this. I didn't think I was going to have issues with staff and with bills and with money and with marketing and with understanding the structure. And most of us, and I'm talking to my urban salon owners, because we started this thing of being a salon owner or a beauty professional very differently than a lot of our counterparts. We didn't start with the same mentality. And so what starts to happen after you go into something, it's almost like, for those of you all that are parents, and whether you decided to be a parent, whether you plan your child, or whether you accidentally had a kid, you all understand that either way, there were some realities when that child actually got here that you did not anticipate. You didn't. Even when you plan it and you try to think things through, and you know, I've experienced people that read all these books on parenting, and maybe they help, maybe they don't. I don't know. But even them, trying to be as planned as they thought they could be, still ran into things that they just was like, okay, the book didn't tell me what to do about this. So think about yourself, salon owners. I'm talking to you today. Think about when you go into something like parenting and you're totally blindsided. You're totally unprepared. You have no idea that all of this extra stuff comes with it. And so the more I've realized that, the more I've had the privilege of being able to go all over the country and experience people not understanding what it means to be a salon owner, I felt it was my responsibility to teach what I knew. I had a very fortunate start. I did not start booth rental. I've been doing this thing 31 years. I did not start booth rental. That was my first benefit. I did not start being a mini salon owner when I had no clue of what to do. I didn't start that way. The second thing was, being in a commission environment, was in a very nurturing, well-structured, well-managed, and these were Black people. It operated kind of like a corporate salon, but it still had that traditional, closeness and feel of family that we like to have in the urban salon. And so I really got the best of both worlds. We had the discipline, we had the reprimanding. I mean, all the way down to, if you didn't clean your station, you got fined. So we understood early what it meant to work under structure, what it meant to still have people that cared about your growth. And so I got the advantage early. Then fast track, I married my first husband. We got married back in 93, and we decided to open a salon, and he actually came from corporate. So we formed a partnership where he was the behind the scenes structure, logistics, numbers, organization, and I was everything in the front: staffing, training, managed the day-to-day operations, and it was a phenomenal pair. The thing that I learned in that process was, I was able to see something happen when you took care of the back end first. Not just hire a bunch of great stylists, but took care of the back end, made sure the structure was in place, all of those things. I was able to see that and see how much of a difference it made in how salons were operated, and inadvertently were successful. I was able to see that. I now realize, after coaching for almost 2 years now, formally coaching, I've been informally coaching forever, but I now see some of the problems salon owners, and those of you that also want to be salon owners, some of the problems that we're having, some of you all have never seen it done right, ever. You've never seen it. You have no idea that these simple things, which I'm getting ready to talk about, literally can make the difference in your salon succeeding. And I don't mean existing. I don't mean just able to pay the bills. I don't mean just able to keep the doors open, but there's nothing left over. You're stressed out because all your personal money, because you're still doing hair. You want to get from behind the chair, but you can't because you got to work just to keep the doors open. I'm not talking about existing. I'm talking about success. I'm talking about businesses that have some money at the end of the rainbow, that their gross profit and their net profit there's still some net profit after that gross profit and bills are paid, and there's still something left. I'm talking about a staff that does not want to leave. They want to stay. I'm talking about running a successful salon even today. Even with all the things that have changed and all the options that people have now to do do it themselves and buy the same stuff you buy and learn it on YouTube. I'm talking about even with those options being available today that were not available back then. One thing I could tell you that has not changed is what you see on this board right here. These are the reasons. And I don't really care if it's a salon, a hot dog stand, sell cupcake shoes. It doesn't matter. These are universal reasons that businesses are failing. And from me now coaching, I can tell you these are literally the only 5 that are the reasons that salons are failing. So let me break this down a little bit to you, and let me show you where I got this. I read a lot of statistical data and do market research and all that good stuff, so I'm always pulling stuff from everywhere. I have a book called Salon Branding and Marketing. That's this book here. And if you purchase this book, you can get it online, but in the first page, this is what I have. I have all this broken down, okay? But I'm going to go through it a little bit because I want us to think differently going into 2019. I want us to think less about technique. Don't negate it now, because we still got to do hair well, and your people that work for you have to do hair well. But I want us to think more about structure. I want us to think more about back end stuff. The stuff sometimes people don't see. The things that sustain businesses. And it's way past talent. Way past talent. So let's talk about first. But first of all, money. Now, that could mean a lot of things. That means money when I started, money to keep businesses going, money at the end of after all the bills are paid. This is what I find mostly. I actually have 2 groups. I have a group called Stretch, which is people that, these are my coaching groups, people that already have salons of 2 years or more, all the way to 25 years. Then I also have a group called Aspire. Aspire is ambitious salon professionals investing in real entrepreneurship. These are people who want to open a salon, and they want to learn this before they mess up. I also have some people in this group who have just opened. So it's really 2 years and under, and people that want to open a salon. But this is the stuff that we work on. Now, we deal with salon stuff too, because we got to make sure your salon is right and it's laid out right and structured right and all that other good stuff, and get, furniture at a good price and all that. But this is where I focus with them, because I don't care how good you do hair. I don't care how good everybody in your salon does hair. If you don't want to just merely exist, because that's what a lot of salons are doing, they're just existing, then you got to understand, okay, no money. First of all, before you open a salon, and I'm talking I'm going to say it in two contexts. Those of you that don't have a salon, you can learn this stuff before you do it. If those of you all that are watching my video, I know a lot of people tell me they watch my video and take notes. And if you want to open a salon, and I'm being very modest when I say this, if you don't have minimally, and I'm talking bare bones minimal, $15,000, you ain't ready, period. If you don't have at least 15 grand, and that is 15 grand will get you started when it was like already a salon or when it was already a restaurant. These are businesses that already put money into electrical and plumbing, and that's where your biggest money is going to come from. Not all these cosmetics that you all put into the bill. I know y'all will trick out a salon and buy $6,000 chairs and don't even realize that your hot water tank is not big enough for all these chairs you got, which means when you start business, the water is going to go cold. And you ain't even thought that far. All we think about is cosmetics. We got to get past that. It's okay. I believe in having a beautiful salon. I had beautiful salons. But at the same token, I didn't negate the things that are going to cost me real money. So that's starting off. For those of you all that are already in business, the way you start producing income, if you don't already have it, if you're merely existing, is you have to start leveraging what you already have in the shop. You have to take what's already there, your workers, and you have to start creating opportunities, retail. You can start doing things like you all go and start doing freelance work. It's several projects. If you join my coaching group, I'll break those down. But the biggest thing is retail. Retail can literally flip everything you have. If you start taking, if you got 3 workers, and those 3 workers don't do anything but literally, and I have that in this book here. Let me read y'all something. I'm going to read y'all something real quick. This is about retail. This is for those that already have shops and you didn't get the memo. So now you trying to figure out how you get money out of what you already got. Listen to this. This is in my retail book. Y'all see this? I had some of you all order this yesterday. A lot of you all actually. Listen to this. For every 10 clients service per day. This is in here. For every 10 clients service per day. That's this book that I'm reading right here. That's the retail book. Okay? That's this one. For every 10 clients service per day, purchasing an average of 2 products at $5 per item. At least $100 in retail sales will be generated, resulting in $500 per week. Y'all got that? $500 per week. I'm going to take the 10 client scenario again. I'm going to take it, and I'm now going to put it in terms of monthly. Those same 10 clients in that same scenario will average $2,000 a month. Now let me go back now. That ain't doing a whole lot. That's just every now and again having a conversation. That's every 10 clients. That means if you got 5 people, all y'all got to do is get 2 people each to buy some stuff. Purchasing an average of 2 products at $5. We know products are more than $5, right? They are not $5. At least that's at least $100 in retail sales that will be generated and resulting in $500 per week. That's what that means. Okay, I'll say it again. This is in a monthly scenario. In the same scenario, 10 client scenario, the average income generated will be $2,000. That's monthly. I got it in here yearly too. Same scenario, 10 client scenario, your average yearly in 52 weeks will be $26,000. Did y'all hear that? That's minimal effort. That's minimal. That ain't even working hard. These are the ways. Retail is going to be the easiest. Now, there are several more. I got them in here. And also, if you want to join my coaching groups, I'll walk you through them and I help you start them. But these are the minimal ways that if you already got a salon, you can now leverage what you have to produce more money so that you can further your business. You already got stuff to work with. People coming into it, and I'll say it again, if you don't have at least $15,000, and that's minimal. That's bare bones. When you get ready to start a shop, I prefer you don't get a loan, but if you do, it better be at least 15 grand. If you don't have at least, and I'm talking about a modest shop. I'm talking about maybe 1,000 square feet tops, really more like 700-800, and then obviously it depends on where you live. Because if you live east, if you live way west, then just the rent alone may cost you $3,500. I'm talking about just to put the thing together. We ain't talking about rent. We ain't talking about mortgage. If you buy it, we're not talking about that. I'm just talking about putting the necessary things in the salon so that it can run without a hitch when you open. And that's obvious, like I said, predicated on whether it was already a salon and they already had plumbing set up, they already had the electrical setup where every dryer is on its own circuit, whether the hot water tank is actually big enough for the amount of employees that you're going to have. This is what will let you open a salon successfully with 15 grand. You don't have to buy the most expensive furniture. So 15, that's like bare bones. When I say bare bones, I know people that have done it with that. Now, obviously, if you want something that's 3,000-4,000 square feet, then you're going to have to fill it up with some stuff, okay? So that's bare bones. You don't have no money, period. That's the reason businesses fail. I've been doing a lot of market research and just, I've subscribed to a lot of things that kind of keep me abreast all over the country of what's happening in the industry. And salons are closing everywhere, guys, everywhere. at about a 15% rate per year. That means I don't care where you live, from California to New York, based off of the amount of salons that are within an area, they're closing at about 15%. 15% of the salons. So if you got 150 of them, that means at least what, 15, about 20 of them are closing per year. Just shutting down. And this is the thing, we put too much into it. I got 31 years in. Even before I decided to shut down my last salon because I was traveling, I had done it. I'm good. I'd moved on. I still couldn't imagine if I had to shut it down at that moment, what else was I going to do? What was I going to do? I didn't know anything else. And this is the position I know a lot of you all are in. So let me help you. Let me help you. You can go on my website, knowledgebynikki.com. There's a consultation button, and the consultation is free. The consultations is obviously for me to hopefully be able to coach you and kind of help you along, because it's not a one-word answer. It's not a one conversation solution to this problem, but I just want to give you some pearls on some things you can work to, strive to, and hopefully help you out. So let's keep going. No business plan. Let's talk about that. I cannot express how important it is to write down your vision. Call it a business plan. Call it writing down my dream. I don't care what you want to call it. But you have to, if you are in a place now, okay, I'm going to back it up. If you haven't opened a salon, which you'd be ready for my Aspire group. If you haven't opened a salon, but you know you want to open one, then you can write a full-on business plan. And a business plan, let me show you. Let me show you. I got some things right here. This is a book that I actually produced. I put it together myself. And it teaches you about business credit score and all that good stuff. But what I love most about it is this is mine. So I wrote in it. So y'all don't be mad. I wrote in it. Okay, this is my book. So I'm trying to see, where does it start here? Here we go. This is, and I help you understand. And it's real easy. It's simple. This ain't corporate stuff because we ain't corporate. 6 elements to understanding how to write a successful business plan. You know, you have things like the executive summary, business, product and prescription, your target market. Who are you targeting? Older people, younger people, different socioeconomic classes. Plan the game, Mark. Where are you trying to go with this? That's if you make a schedule for a consultation with me, that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. What are you trying to accomplish here? Let's have that conversation. Management team, are you going to be able to do it on your own, or do you need people? And then we have what's called cash forecasting. That means, and I can teach you how to cash forecast. If you join my group, or either I'll have a webinar available probably next week called Knowing Your Numbers. I'll teach you how to cash forecast, how to see what you got right now, where you're going to be in a year, or based off of just where you are. It's really very easy to do cash forecasting, but we help you figure that out in here on paper. So this book is also available on Knowledge by Nikki. It's really great. The business plan is probably about 20 pages of this book. It sets up everything like absolutely wonderfully. This is really a great book. And this is actually going to help you to set up a business plan. Now, that's if you haven't opened a salon yet. So let me talk to y'all that are already open. If you're already open, you actually have the advantage. You know why? Because you've already seen what doesn't work. You've already seen what does work. So we are literally taking your business plan and we're setting it up based off of where you are. And this is going to now take us, we've already started at A. Now we're saying like point L. This is going to take us from now L to Z. And we have real facts, real data to support using the same platform, how we're going to get from here to there. You may have started off targeting this market, and then you realize that your market was really this. You and your salon naturally drew this group of people. So now actually having a salon and already having some data, you can write a business plan even easier, because it's not just in your head, it's real. But you got to do it. A business plan is not just about getting people's money, guys. It's not just about getting their money. It's about you seeing a clear picture, and it don't have to be long, a clear picture of what it is you want to do now, what it is you want to do in a couple years, and even all the way up to exit strategy. In a business plan, you should also have your exit plan. It's almost like when you buy a house. And I was just watching on the news the other day. They were talking about Michael Jordan's house here in Chicago, and he still ain't able to sell it. Michael, when he got his money, I'm sure he did like a lot of athletes do. He bought a house, he tricked it out, and made it totally custom for him. He probably didn't think about, when I retire, what am I going to do with this house? Because it's so custom, nobody else wants it. It's like when you buy a house and you decide to trick it out and make the rooms all these different colors and all this special stuff, and things are real eclectic, and I'm talking about fixed stuff. What's going to happen is when you get ready to sell that house, the realtor's going to come in and assess, and they're going to say, you know what, you need to change all this because ain't nobody going to buy it. Okay, so when you're buying the house and when you're first going in, sometimes you want to think about that. Maybe keep the walls neutral. Maybe keep things to where literally if it's just a matter of you moving your furniture out, it's ready for somebody to come in. You got to think of your business the same way. You have to think of a business in the text or in the context of when I walk away. I don't care if it's 30 years later. That's what a business plan is going to help you do. It's going to help you think about when I move in that direction, what's going to happen. When I move in that direction, I now know that I can easily sell this place, rent it out, whatever it is that I need to do. So business plans are for you. They're not for anyone else. They're for you to have a clear picture of what it is that you're trying to do. Because when you don't have a plan, what's the old adage? If you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, plan to fail. That's how I think it goes. That's true, guys. That's true. At some point, you got to plan it out. At some point, whether you're in the middle and you didn't plan in the first place, okay, it ain't over. Businesses regroup and change all the time. That's what this time. And in 2019, I just want you to accept the fact that this is what you're going to have to do to survive. That's just what, I ain't saying nothing about hair. I ain't saying nothing about, we got that. We can do hair. We can do hair well. But how do we sustain these businesses? That's the $1 million question. No clients. Let me tell you what's interesting. Most people that open salons in the urban community, and actually even other nationalities, they open it under the pretense that they have clients, and if nothing else, their clients and what they make can support the business. And people say that. They say all the time, well, as long as I can pay the bills, then I'm good. Well, that's okay to a point. But this is what happens when you decide that you got 6 chairs, 5 other than you, and then you decide that you're going to start bringing people in, whether it be booth rental, commission. We ain't even got to the system yet. Whichever system you choose, you also have to think about where are they going to get their clients from. If they don't come in already established, if you haven't intentionally hired established people, then where are they going to build from? If you got commissioned, did you anticipate the walk-ins? Did you figure out how many people? Let me give you all a tip. This is something I actually teach to people in my groups too, in my Aspire group. If you want to know how many people pass a particular location at any given moment, it's easy. You can actually go to the village hall, city hall, whatever they call it in your city, wherever the municipality is for that city that you're looking at this space in that corner, or if you're already in there, you can go to them and you can ask them, can you give me some analysis or give me some numbers on how many cars pass this corner? You got to take the closest corner to where you are. So if you're in the middle of the block, you figure out which way you want to go. How many, and you can do both corners, really. You ask them how many cars pass this corner between, say, 9 to 5. They know. If you have ever seen some men, sometimes they stand outside in these construction jackets and they're holding this weird little thing that looks like a meter on a stick. What that thing does is it actually clocks cars. They can tell you how many cars go past any intersection in any given day. That's literally how prices are basically, they come to pricing on different corners is based off of the amount of people that pass through. Certain corners have better marketing value than others. What you want to look for, if you want to be in an area where you have plenty of passerbyers, you're looking for at least 1 million cars. You're looking for 1 million cars to pass through an intersection. That would be more like a retail area. 1 million cars pass through this intersection on any given day. 9 to 5, 8-hour span. That is an area where you know you'll be able to generate clients. You'll be able to generate people that will be able to now feed the people who are in your salon. Because whether they're booth rental or commission, if they're not able to work, get walk-ins, or at least be in an area like if you're in a lot with a Walmart or something like that, if they're not at least in a place where they can go out and hustle for clients, then they're not going to stay. And these are things you need to be thinking about, especially those of you all who have not acquired a location yet. You need to be thinking about that. You need to say, where are these clients going to come from? Now, I have a couple owners who are trying to get from behind the chair. This is another way. If you plan on weaning some of your people, meaning I got a waiting list. Some of you all do. That's how I built a lot of people when I was crazy working in the salon. I had a waiting list, so I just passed them on. Okay, they assisted me first, and then I encouraged them to eventually sit in their chair, and I purposely did that to help build other people's businesses. They worked for me, so it was no loss for me, and they were commissioned. You know, so it was like, okay, everybody wins and I can get them clients, but you got to come up with a strategy. What marketing is, guys, is a strategy. Marketing is just a strategy. Branding, again, I said yesterday, is just who you are. Marketing is the strategy you're going to take in order to build your business, period. You ain't got no clients. You're not going to survive, okay? Then we go into, now this is the real one here that we lack in this business. No structure or system. I don't even really know where to start with that. But let's try this first. Let's start first at booth rental versus commission. This is something, and I actually have a book also. All these books are online, by the way. I have a book that also talks about that. Booth rental versus commission. Look, I'm trying to figure out which way I need to hold this here. Booth rental versus commission. I have said time and time and time again that you cannot determine how much you are going to charge people if they're independent contract or if they're booth renters, tenants, until you know your numbers. Okay, let me give you an example. This is just one of the pages in this book, and I break down booth rental and commission really, really well so you can understand what it means. Let me see if I can find that page that gives it's a formula. Okay, here's the booth rental section. So let's talk. Okay, here we go. See, it's a booth rental formula. Y'all see that? It's a booth rental formula. This is a simple formula. Now, for those of you all that don't have a business yet, this is something that you can actually do when we get you to understanding your numbers. The key thing is every chair has to bring in a certain amount of money, period. It's like apartments. Every chair has to produce a certain amount, whether it's booth rental or commission, period. In a booth rental situation, this is what you do. You're adding rent plus, and it's just some stuff. Rent plus electric plus gas plus cable plus cleaning plus garbage pickup plus administrative payroll plus office supplies plus toilet paper, paper towels, towel service, all insurance, maintenance, and any other miscellaneous. That's just some stuff, okay? Easy. You take that amount, you divide it by the number of laborers. So if you got 6 people, 6 chairs in your salon, you're one. You would divide that total amount. Now, we can do this monthly or yearly. You can divide that total amount by 5. Because you're the 6th one. You take yourself out. Because the goal is for the owners to not have to pay. The goal is for the owners to not have to put one dime in your business for you to walk away. That's the goal. This will teach you how to do that. Actually, I did this yearly in here. You take that total monthly and you divide it by the number of laborers. Then you multiply that by 12. Okay, that's 12 months a year. Whatever that total comes up to, you're going to divide that total by 52. This is in booth rental because there's 52 weeks in a year. You divide that total by 52. That gives you what that chair is worth per week. Okay? Then you're going to add 10% for any miscellaneous. Just life happens. Stuff happens. And then you're going to add another 10% for profit. That is how you come up with a booth rental fee. Okay? It gives I give it to you in numbers here. That literally equates to, if your total expenses, I took kind of a high number because some of you all have really high rent. Your total expenses may be $5,000. You have 7 laborers. That in the individual chair's worth, when you do the math based off of what I just told you, that's meaning you really got 8, but I took 7 because I took you out. It's $714 a month. You're going to multiply that by 12. That means I need to get every chair. It needs to get at least $714 a month, and I multiply that by 12, which comes to $8,568 weekly, and then I divide that by 52. When I divide that by 52, that comes to $165 a week. But I still got to add for miscellaneous and profit. So I add basically 20% total for miscellaneous and profit, and that gives me a $200 a week booth rent. Let me tell you what happens. And all that's in here, guys. You can get some of these books are on sale too. You can get them all online, knowledgebynikki.com. This is one called Booth Rental versus Commission. Let me tell you what happens when you don't do that math. When you don't do that math, and I have people in my coaching groups that we're trying to fix that because they didn't do the math, you just threw out a number. Oh, I'm going to charge them $150 a week, or even $175 a week. Then you realize that it really needs to be $200. So even though that seems like a small amount of money, you have to make up that deficit. If you're not going to change the rent, which sometimes, depending on the situation, you can't just wake up and change rent. You have to figure out how you're going to get that deficit. Now, mind you, that's $25 per person per week. So if I got 7 people, that's basically $100 a month for 7 people because it's $25 per week that I'm short. Y'all with me? If you don't do that, no structure, not working on the right system, your salon may be in a situation where commission is better. I also have the commission formula on here. The commission formula will help you to be able to know what quotas. You have to help them reach quotas. So if you know you need $714 from that chair, and this is really high, and that means that the goal is, and that's a month. So if we divide that, that's $200 a week. That means I really got to get them, if it's on a 50-50 split, I got to get them to produce 400. They got to produce 400 to make this work, 400 or better. So I have to help them things like sell retail, ad services. I have to help them be able to reach that quota, or we both fall short, more me than them, because I still got to pay them. So the book talks about that as well. You got to know the right structure, whether it should be booth rental commission or commission on a draw, which is basically hourly. That's a whole nother system. I'm going to tell you today, commission on a draw, which means that they either get paid hourly or their commission. It is a necessary system today because people are not going to sit. If they're not making money, they're not just going to sit there. So you have to be in a position where you're making more money, my salon owners, so that if you have to pay them an hourly wage, you're not paying them out your pocket, because you're going to have to pay them an hourly wage to sit, or they're not going to sit. That's just the people, that the generations that we're dealing with now, they're not going to sit. They're not going to just sit and wait till clients come in the door. So this becomes a incentive for them to still get something. Now it's bare bones minimum wage. You're not talking about, we ain't paying them $15 an hour, $20 an hour just to sit, because some of them will get comfortable and they'll just be like, I'm fine because I make money either way. No. We're paying them bare bones minimal so that we can encourage them to stay. So when walk-ins come in, we ain't looking for everybody. Okay, like where are they? So commission on a draw is also, and that's basically hourly against commission. Book talks about that. It helps you understand how that works. This is really, really important. This is so important. Okay, then we get into, this is my absolute favorite, not understanding the numbers. I have a friend, Ivory Mims, my accountant, and I love him. If you all, I think you go on ivorymims.com. I forgot where you find him. Ivory is a genius when it comes to understanding numbers. And he says something that I start using in my classes all the time. He actually does presentations. He says, I don't care if you make $1 million. If you spend $1 million and 5 cents, you're broke. That is where we are. We making money, but we have no idea where it is. We don't know where it is. We still robbing Peter to pay Paul. We still using every grace period to pay a bill that they offer. Even though it's due on the 1st, we paying it on the 17th. And we're still doing that, guys, because we're making this money, but we have absolutely no clue where it is. Knowing the numbers is everything. First of all, the only way you can start knowing the numbers is to keep good records. Some of you all, I say this because I love what technology has afforded us to do. Look, I'm using my Mevo. I love this live stream camera thing. It allows me, guys, to stream Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, all my Facebook pages, and record all at the same time. So I love this thing. I love technology, okay? But at the same token, technology has made us lazy. It's made us not pay attention. It's made us, when we're driving, we just listen to the GPS lady and we don't even pay attention to the stuff. Anytime you got to use the GPS for somewhere you've been to more than 2 times, that means that we become totally dependent. We like, I ain't going to pay attention. I'm just going to let her tell me where to go. After about 2 times, you should know where to go. You should know where to turn. You should know what to do. But as great as technology has been, and I say this in regards to us keeping up our records, we know that it's in the system, whether it be Square, PayPal, whatever bank system you may use. I mean, they got 1,000 of them, different Clover, people using Clover, POS systems. We know that all of our information is in the system. We know at any moment, if your accountant or somebody asks you to pull up records for November or pull up records for October or whatever month, you can go to it and pull it up. The problem is, because we now have these systems, we don't look at it. We don't even bother to look at it. See, I come from the old school. And I come from the old school. And mind you, for those of you all that are watching me, I can't see your comments on the Mevo. So I'll look at your comments later. If there's something you need for me to talk about, again, go on my Facebook, go on my knowledgebynikki.com page. Hit consultation is free. You can set up a time to talk to me, or you can text me at 800-580-8074, and or just put some comments. Direct message me. I get to them one way or the other. But what us old schoolers did, so if any of y'all are old school, y'all know what I'm talking about. We had appointment books that we wrote in. And we didn't only write their name, but we wrote how much they paid us. We literally wrote how much money we made on those people. We wrote, if it was, I use me, Nikki Smith, $100. So-and-so, $20. So our appointment books became our Bibles. They literally became the things that we kept all our records on. We totaled it up down at the bottom. But let me tell you the benefit of that is that we knew when we didn't make enough money. We could look at the day and say, oh, I fell short that day. Based off of how many people I did, I should have had this much. We had it in front of us all the time. So even though it was the long way, and definitely you couldn't lose that book now, because if you lost that book, you was burned up. But we held that book. That book was like a Bible. We held that book close. We ain't lose that book. Some of us had the big book that laid out on a receptionist counter, and we kept our stuff like that. But the benefit that we had is we knew at any given point, if you ask me how much I made for November, I could literally flip. We totaled it out. I knew right then, and I knew when something needed to be adjusted immediately because I seen it. I'm like, wait a minute, I did 20 people and I only made $500. Something is wrong. So I knew if I designed a quota for myself, I designed a quota, which we did. We knew at the end of the week we wanted to make X amount of dollars. Automatically, what would happen is I would look and say, okay, I need to make X amount of dollars. So if Tuesday was short, I could automatically see, okay, I got 15 people on Wednesday. I got 10 on Thursday. I got so-and-so on Friday. I got so-and-so on Saturday. I'm automatically, in order to get to where I need to be, I need to make X amount of dollars per day, which means I'm looking at it. I need to add services to Susie. We literally were able to look at it and know what we needed to do and change it immediately. That's the benefit of us writing it down versus today. Now, if you are one today if you are using a system, and that's the only way you keep it, which is fine because I do too. The thing is, though, I print it out every day, at least every week. Sometimes I have to print out a week, but I print out beforehand. I know beforehand what next week is looking like, what the week after is looking like. I look at the totals every single day. I only work every other week now in the salon, so that's different. But I look at those. Those 2 days I work, Thursday, Friday, I could tell you at the end of Thursday what it was. And I've already looked at Friday, so I know what Friday needs to be. This is what we have to do. If you're going to depend on a system to keep it up, in order to know where you need some more money, where you need to change some things, you got to be looking at it. And if you got a whole salon, you got to look at everybody's number. If it's commission, you got to look at everything. Okay? We have to develop a disciplined system where we pay attention so we know what the numbers are looking like. Okay? I'm going to be doing a webinar. It'll probably be next week because I've already started. It's a lot to put together. It's about knowing your numbers. I'm going to teach you everything about knowing your numbers. I'm going to teach you how much product you actually use on one person. I'm going to teach you how to create cycles with people and know what they're worth to you every 3 months. I'm going to teach you how to be able to do cash forecasting, how to read a profit and loss statement, how to do balance sheets. I'm going to teach you all of that the salon way. This will be a webinar. Webinar is only $99. It's going to probably be about 3 hours long. So if you all are interested in that, either keep coming on. I'm going to be on every day this week because I'm going to be going through this stuff. Keep coming on, or you can hit me up at 800-580-8074. Just say, send me the code so you can obviously pay and then be able to sit down at your house. I'm going to teach you how to figure out your net income, your gross income, and cash forecast from there. You're going to have to. So that means if you want to actually do the webinar with me, you go ahead and pay for the webinar. It'll be available to you. You can have your totals right there in front of you. You can see how I do the math, how I figure this out. This we have to do if you're a salon owner for you personally. If you're not a salon owner, we still do it for you. And I'm going to need at least 30 days. 30 days worth of totals in order to figure this out. 3 months is better. Okay, now this is going to be a recorded webinar, so you're just watching me. It's not an interactive because we got to do like an 8-hour class for it to be interactive. It literally would take that long for us to do it as a whole. But not understanding the numbers is when you look at a balance sheet, when you get your bank sheet and your bank statement starts off, it says you had this amount of money that was put in all month. And then you look at that ending balance and it's got a negative sign in front of it. Something is wrong. And a lot of us are actually going through that. Something is wrong. If it's got a negative in front of it, then somewhere along the line, you're not charging enough. You're not adding on services. You've messed up with what you've established as the pay amount for certain people. Somewhere along the lines, we got to do something different. This will kill you even if you got this halfway right. You have to do the math. You have to understand the numbers. And this is something that I can tell you from coaching now for, like I said, a little under 2 years. This has been the biggest problem. This is even a bigger problem than any of these. I can get people to, hopefully save some money. We're going to do a savings plan tomorrow, by the way. I'm going to show you how to save money using a savings chart. Really, really easy, really simple. It's going to take me a minute to draw it out on this board, but tomorrow we're going to talk about saving. I'm going to deal with the no money part, okay? But even more than all of these, if you don't understand the math, you still can fail. How many of us have seen businesses, and by all accounts, they look like they were booming? I mean, they was killing it far as we know. We see they're busy all the time, and then one day you look up and they're closed. Okay, that's my bell telling me I got to hurry up, okay? That's what that bell is. But we've seen that. Let me stop this. We've actually seen that, right? And the problem with that is that 99% of the times, the problem is something to do with this. Now, we know other stuff happens in companies and they close for various reasons, but it's usually about this. It isn't about what you see. Just because you see somebody that's got customers spewing out the building and they got 10, 12 people lined up waiting on them, that doesn't mean they're doing well. That means that they have the potential to do well. But if they don't get this right, as my accountant said, if you make $1 million, if you are a 7-figure stylist, if you spend that amount and 5 cents over, you're broke. So it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Definitely, let me help you. Let me help you see how to keep it. I went through figuring all this out, messing it up, fixing it, messing it up, fixing it again. The last time I fixed it, I vowed I'd never mess up. I'm done. I'm done messing up. I'm too old. I make too much money to not figure this out. I mean, how many of us have felt like that? You making money, but you're broke. You're still broke. At some point, guys, you got to get tired of that. And again, you've been doing this 20 years. What else you going to do? So let's get this right. Let's go into 2019 doing better. Let's go into 2019 realizing that talent is never enough. As John Maxwell says, he has a book. It's great called Talent is Never Enough. You cannot survive off your talent. You can't. Eventually, you're going to have to look at some of this stuff or you're going to fail. So let's do that, guys. Let's get better. 2019, let's focus on more of this and less of the other. Not focusing on it, but let's shift a little bit of our attention to this right here. No money, no business plan, no clients, no structured system, not understanding the numbers. These are the reasons that our salons are failing. So you all tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you how to do a savings calendar, how to save any amount of money. You won't even feel it. Okay? So tune in tomorrow. This is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. Check me out at knowledgebynikki.com. I got all the books online that deal with all this stuff. Okay, I've broken down on there what they all got in them. So the books are on sale. I got a sale going too before the year is out. So some of them are like $50. And I mean, we talking about serious information. Like right now, open it up, do it type of information. I'd love to see you. So I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.